Are you interested in laser engraving hat patches, but you're just not sure how? If that's you, stick around. On today's video, I'm going to use the WeCreat Vista laser to engrave on this hat patch that I got as part of a set from Amazon. Now, of the various lasers that I have, why would I use the WeCreat Vista today? Well, there's two main reasons. First and foremost, I've had this machine for a while now, and it has done a great job on what I've been using it for. Second of all, WeCreat is currently in a pre-sale process for the Vista machine. From now through October 14th, they have some very good early bird special pricing going on. If you're interested in checking out the Vista, and especially that early bird pricing, check out the link that I have below this video. Now, the WeCreat Vista is a 10-watt diode laser. If you feel like you need more power than that, WeCreat also has the Vision laser, and you can get that in a 20-watt or a 40-watt laser head. I'll have a link to those below as well. Now, without wasting more time, let's go ahead and get started. The first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and open this WeCreat Make It software. I have this warning. Please click here for information on the importance of proper air assist installation. I'm going to go ahead and click right here so I don't see that for 7 days. Let's go ahead and click on New Project. And this is what the main screen of WeCreat Make It software looks like. Now I'm going to use a hat patch today. This is faux leather, but this is laserable faux leather. It's something I got from Amazon. I'm going to put it inside, then I'll click on refresh and we'll see exactly where I can put the word on my hat patch. Let's go ahead and open the lid. When I'm doing a hat patch, I like to have a piece of wood under it. So I'm going to place this wood right in the middle, and I'm pressing it against the front of the laser so that I know it's pretty straight. Now you see the little red beam there? That's what the WeCreat Vista uses to measure the thickness of your material. I'll show you that in just a minute. This machine comes standard with air assist, which I think is wonderful. And between the laser and the air assist, there's a decent amount of airflow in there. So for that reason, I like to use some tape to tape down my patch to the wood. I'm going to go ahead and put it straight flush with the top of the board. That way I feel like it's going to help me when I'm placing my design on the patch to get it really nice and straight. Now I can tell it's not straight. Let me go ahead and straighten that out. Now you leave the lid of the WeCreat Vista up because the camera is right inside this lip of the lid. And it's hanging down, or it's pointed down, and it's looking at my material. Now that my material's in there, I'm going to go ahead and click refresh. After clicking refresh, I can see my material inside. Before we start messing with settings, let me go ahead and make my design. It's just going to say T-Bow. That's my husband's nickname. So I click right over here on text, and then click back over anywhere on the screen, and it defaults to the word hello. Let's go ahead and move that up on top of my patch. It also defaults to line engrave. If I left it at line engrave, it would just engrave a line around the inside and outside of each letter. So I'm going to change that to fill engrave. You can have it any color you want. For this dark leather, something light like orange, or one of my favorite colors, pink, shows up really nicely. I'll double click on that, and then in all caps, I'm going to type T-B-O. Now that's way too big, and it's not the font I want. So I go ahead and select it, go right up here to font. I'm going to use a system font, and my system font is Hobo. So I'll type in Hobo, hit enter. It's right here so I can select it, and that changed my font. Well, that's not real masculine. Maybe I shouldn't use that font. Let me go back and pick another one. I'll go ahead and get rid of Hobo. Instead, I'm going to use Arial Black. So I click on it, and it changed. You can see it is way too big for this patch. So let's go up here to the width. I want to lock my proportions so that my text stays the same proportion it is now. And I'm going to go down to 2 inches. It might be just a tiny bit too small. Let's go 2.1. Now I can either use my fingers to zoom in on this, or I can go right up here and let's change it to 200%. That looks pretty good. It lets me see what I'm doing really nicely. And right there, I just use my fingers to go in just a little bit more. Now, if I want to move the view of this, I go up to this little hand, click on it. Now I can drag it down so it's more in the middle. All right, let's go back to the select tool. There's a couple ways that you can center this. You can select it and you can just do it by sight. But something I like to do is go over here to rectangle, click on it, and then just draw a rectangle that basically touches your top line, your bottom line, and each of the side lines of the perimeter or the outside of your patch. That probably needs to come over just a little bit more. Now that I have the rectangle around the outside of the patch and I have T-bow pretty much the way I want it, I think I might want it a little bit narrower. So I'm going to click on T-bow, unlock the proportions, and I'm going to drag it just a little bit to the left. Now it's no longer centered. So I'm going to go around both items, go up to align and say center horizontally. I'll go back to align and center vertically. Now T-bow should be right in the center of my patch. I don't want this rectangle to process, so the first thing I'm going to do so I don't forget is click on it, go right over here to ignore for processing. That makes it where the machine just doesn't do anything with it at all. It's almost like it doesn't exist. If I wanted to, I could just delete it, but if I want to do more patches, I would leave it. For now, I'm just going to leave it. Now it's time to select all my settings. The first thing you want to make sure is that you truly are on laser flat. Your other options are laser cylindrical and auto pass-through. That's if you're trying to work with larger pieces of material, you can get this optional auto pass-through. I'm going to use laser flat. Now it took my view back down, which is fine. I already have it where I want it. Now I'm going to go down here, click on what the current material selection is, and I'm going to go right over here, click on leather, leather PVC leather, which is a fake leather, and 2mm. Now, even if mine isn't 2mm, it's perfectly fine. That just helps me set my settings. I'll show you how you get the thickness in just a minute. Let's go ahead and click on 2mm, and then I can use this as a general guide on how dark I want this to engrave. I'm just going to stay on the general settings. They've worked really well for me. I like the engraving nice and dark, and I'll click confirm. Now I need to make sure that the laser is going to focus at the right height. Remember, it thinks that our faux leather is 2mm thick. To the laser, it will appear that it's much thicker than that because I have that piece of wood on the bottom. So to measure the height of my material, I'm going to click on Auto Measure. When I do, the light in the laser goes off, it measures it with that red beam, and then it comes back on. And you're going to notice this thickness change. So let's go ahead and click on Auto Measure. Now it thinks my material is 5.9mm thick because with the height of the board, that's what it is. Let's see what the settings are. I'm going to use a power of 100% and a speed of 305. I'm just going to do one pass, and I'm going to leave the line density at 100. That's done a great job for me. When you process your jobs, you need to make sure that you either have this vented out a window, or for me, I have it hooked up to an air purifier. So I'll turn that on, and then we'll be ready to engrave. So I'll click on Start. And now what I can do is I can click on Framing. That's going to allow me to see where this is going to process. So the laser is going to come over my material and put a beam on it, and I can see if that looks accurate. Let's go ahead and do that. When you're happy with your framing, you can go ahead and you can click Send. At this time, I need to go ahead and lower the lid and press the button on the front for this to start engraving. Now that is a very good engrave. It looks a little bit like there's some singe around it. That's just some of the material that's on top. It's kind of like dust. So what I like to do is I like to take a wet paper towel, or I can just take it in the bathroom and put it under the sink. Let me show it to you before I do this. But I'll take this wet paper towel and I'll wipe off that extra dust. Now look at it. That looks great. I think it looks wonderful. This patch has adhesive on the back, so now I can iron it on a hat for my husband. Remember, if you are interested in this WeCreat Vista, it's in an early bird special pricing right now until October 14th. At this time, you can put down a $20 deposit, and that locks in the early bird pricing of $699 for this machine. Now, if you want to add the rotary, it is a bit more, but as far as that price goes, that's a phenomenal price for this machine. If you're interested in something more powerful than the Vista, WeCreat also has the Vision. That comes in 20 watt and 40 watt. It's also a diode laser. You could check that out as well. Now, regardless of whether you're buying the Vista or the Vision, if you'd like to, I do have a link in the video description below that is an affiliate link. So whether you order the Vista or you order the Vision, that does help out my channel and I appreciate it. So thank you so much for joining me today. If you have any questions or comments or suggestions, leave those down in the comment section under the video. And until my next video, bye-bye.